Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Rangers Review morning briefing. It is Monday, the 15th of December. I'm Derek Clark, and I'm joined this morning by Jonny McFarlane. How goes it, Jonny?
Yes, very good, Derek. Looking forward to another night of football. My wife will be delighted to know that once again I will be otherwise engaged of an evening with a toddler running rampant round the house while I put my feet up and watch the game. But really looking forward to it. I think there's going to be an interesting game tonight and plenty of action, no doubt.
Yeah, it's a weird one. No Rangers weekend action, instead a game on Monday evening. 7:45pm kickoff tonight, folks. Rangers taking on Hibernian at Ibrox, and let's hope they get all 3 points. But plenty to discuss over the course of today's show. But before we get stuck in, a quick word for our podcast sponsors, Willows Fencing, the Glasgow-based fencing company you can trust, and proud partners of the Rangers Review. They've got over 20 years of experience in the fencing trade. No job is too big or too small for these guys. They offer free consultations as well as 10% off if you use the code Rangers Review over on their website, willows-fencing.com. And the all-important description and links are in below this video, so do go and check them out. We'll look ahead to the game shortly, Jonny. There was the first silverware, of course, just sort of deviating slightly from Rangers somewhat yesterday. St Mirren, well done to them, winning at Hampden in the League Cup final. Well done to Stephen Robinson. Great achievement for the Buddies, beating Celtic by 3-1. Their misery continues, and lots of delight in the comments at this point in time, which you can understand. But what did you make of it yesterday?
Yeah, well, I thought first and foremost, congratulations to St Mirren and Stephen Robinson. An outstanding achievement and an incredible job has been done by the Northern Irishman since arriving at the club. You know, that's 3 top 6 finishes in a row and a trophy. I mean, that is dreamland for St Mirren. That puts him probably as the top St Mirren manager of all time, certainly in the conversation. And I thought they were more than deserving of their win last night. A really terrific, muscular Scottish football performance. Very aggressive, full of power, full of bite and snap. And look, second half, they outplayed Celtic. And once again, it only underlines what an opportunity Rangers have missed this year. Really, any other year with any of the managers that Rangers have had in the last probably 10 years, I think I would have fancied an Ibrox team led by any of these guys to be probably 5 or 6 points clear at this point in this league, given the stumbles Hearts have had recently. It's bonkers to think £35 million has been spent and that Rangers are sitting 6 points behind this truly awful Celtic team. And listen, here's the thing. Genuinely, I do think Celtic are going to get worse. I don't see it getting better quickly for them. They've gone and done exactly what Rangers did, Derek. They've hired an ideologue to come in who has a system, who has a style, who has a set way of playing, and that won't change it. And you look their next fixture away to Dundee United against Jim Goodwin, who will have looked at the way that these games have gone, and it's fairly obvious what you need to do against Celtic. You force them down the sides to put balls into the box, and then you deal with them. So I really think that Wilfred Nancy at the moment looks like a guy that's in the wrong movie. I'm sure he's a good coach. He's the kind of guy that you put in charge at the end of a season when he has a full pre-season. But wow, Celtic are in a real bad way. You look at what's happening off the pitch, you look at what's happening on the pitch, they are in dire straits, and it underlines what a shambles it's been at Ibrox. That the Rangers fans are not in a position really to be massively crowing about this from a position of comfort. Now, of course, they'll be crowing about it, but crowing from a position of comfort, you know, where you don't have the sort of the jibe coming in the opposite direction of but what are you lot like?
Yeah,
and given the money spent, it's shameful. It really is. It's shameful, and a sad indictment on the work that was done in the summer.
Yeah, of course, not over yet in the league, which is quite incredible, really, given Rangers' start. But there's been no outright runaway leader. I mean, Hearts did win at the weekend. Good win for them against Falkirk. So it's up to Rangers this evening to try and keep pace. But on Celtic, I think, like you, I think it will get worse for them. I can't see them winning at Tannadice, and I'm sure many Rangers supporters will be hoping that this guy remains in the job for quite some time, because it certainly looks like he's going to need a lot of time. And for me, I think I was on with you last week, Johnny. I just didn't get why they made a change when they were winning games under Martin Neal. It just seems mad, but there you go. And
listen, one of the things that I think is important, and both Rangers and Celtic have fallen in this trap. They've gone down the route of hiring an ideologue manager after that idea's gone. Look at the Premier League this year. It's all about percentages, about big physical teams doing the stuff that we used to associate with English and British football. Arsenal, an absolute beast at set plays, just unbelievably good. I mean, I remember the chants when I was a kid, 1-0 to the Arsenal, and it's just it's coming back full circle to that. So that's sort of in fashion now. So the Sean Dyche, the Martin O'Neill, the Sam Allardyce, dare I say it, the Neil Warnock, those guys are back in fashion, almost. And both Celtic and Rangers have gone down the route of an idea that was kind of being sidelined at the elite level now. So listen, they're in trouble, and it's up to Rangers to make sure that they capitalise it. There's now 16 days to the transfer window opening. If Rangers can get through those unscathed, and that's a big ask given the quality of this squad, but if they can do that and get some serious quality in, especially some quality that knows this league and that is proven at this league or at this club, then there's still this league is not over, like people in the comments are saying. It's a big ask from this point. It's a big ask because of the quality in the squad, and it's a big ask because you have to get all your signings right. But it's not impossible, and it's important to remember that despite this season being so apocalyptically bad, it's still there. It's still there. The potential is still there. I can't believe I'm saying it, because I think after about 4 or 5 games, I was writing it off under Russell Martin. But it's testament to the weakness of Celtic. Hearts, I don't think, deserve criticism because they've been brilliant this year. They've only lost 1 game. They've come on leaps and bounds, so they need to be praised. But in terms of Rangers and Celtic, it's frightening how much of a regression there's been at both clubs. And listen, you look at St Mirren, and I'm seeing a few comments already about Gogic and Derek.
Yeah.
Barry Ferguson's already said publicly he's somebody he would have been looking at. And Barry absolutely spot on in that regard. You look at this guy, I watched him really, really closely yesterday because I've always kind of felt like he'd be a good squad player. But I don't know. I mean, talk about a guy who talks on the pitch, who orders his teammates around, who's barking, who's pointing, who's thundering at tackles, who never gives up, who never stops running, who's got a bit of quality as well. You look at that second goal, what outside of the boot pass that is.
Yeah,
I mean, absolutely superb. So, do I think Alex Gogic starts every game for Rangers is going to be a game changer in terms of Europa League games and games against Celtic? Well, maybe not, but I think he's more than capable of an opportunity at that level. And you look at the way he performs against Celtic yesterday, and I thought he was an 8 or a 9 out of 10 in that central midfield area. He's not even a central midfielder. He doesn't like playing in central midfield. He likes playing at the back. So you've got a guy that's capable of playing multiple positions. I just think it's an absolute no-brainer. The only problem is now the price would have gone up, and probably gone up quite significantly.
But you're not breaking the bank for a guy like him. Younger's another one that was mentioned there. He scored 2 goals, of course, against Celtic. He's another decent player for me. But Gogic is certainly that's a no-brainer category now for me.
Even the other lad, the guy. Sorry, I can't remember his name. He was at Bolton, so you'll know Derek.
Oh no, we're not having Dan and Lindeloo. I'm not going to suggest Rangers sign him, but I thought watching Dan and Lindeloo, he showed you exactly what a big target man should do. And Chermiti
in comparison, has not been doing any of the stuff that he was doing. Now, I was impressed by Lundaloo, and then I had a look at his record, and you know, like, you can have a big game in a cup final. He's not consistently performed, I don't think, throughout his career as a striker in terms of goals. But, you know, if you're talking about muscularity, about physicality, about dominating your centre half, he did all those things. And I think if Chermiti was watching that game, he could have learned a few things, because they put themselves about and they caused Celtic real problems.
Yeah, he scored a goal. He was on loan initially at Bolton from Southampton, I think, and he scored down at Bristol Rovers. And I remember Ian Evatt, the manager of Bolton at the time, spoke to him afterwards and asked him about Dan. He says he reminds him of Ivan Toney, and it sort of get labelled to him. I think that maybe hampered him, because there was a lot of expectation on him, and he never quite hit the heights. He was injured a fair bit as well, but it never happened for him at Bolton. Went out to Cambridge. Did okay, and then got his move to St Mirren. I think he's on loan there, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, he did start yesterday, to see if St Mirren will look to bring him up on a permanent basis. But yeah, interesting stuff yesterday. Other news you mentioned there about Gogic. Could he be a potential replacement for one guy who looks set to leave Rangers, Jonny, in January? One of a number of players have been a disappointment since arriving in the summer, and that is Joe Rothwell. We understand Rangers are open to offloading him in the upcoming transfer window. There are some clubs in the Championship that are monitoring him and are looking to bring him back to a division that he knows well. For Joe Rothwell, it's just a move that hasn't worked. He's looked a shadow of the player that he looked at Leeds and at Southampton, and it's probably best for both parties if he's moved on, Jonny.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you've got to start rectifying the errors of this horror transfer window. Joe Rothwell does have a good reputation down south, is a player that's highly regarded down there, so you're absolutely best to cut your losses and move him on. And I'm not surprised, number one, that the player's interested in moving away, and number two, that we understand the club are open to letting him go. It's just been a disastrous move. This was a guy that you would expect to have been the linchpin of the new Rangers, the new Rangers era.
Yeah.
And he never looked comfortable from day one as a six. And then he's been injured pretty much the whole time, hasn't he? He's had injuries, or he's not been playing for whatever reason, not been selected. And you just can't have a guy on the money that he's on, with the career he's had, age 30, just not playing for Rangers. You know, he needs to be in that team to get bang for your buck. So absolutely for the best he moves back down south. I don't think Rangers are going to lose a lot of money on that deal. So it makes sense just to call time in it. And
yeah,
it's promising that moves like this are already afoot. I've talked before, and I'll say it again, about needing to get things done quickly and early, and giving the manager, Danny Rule, some support. And sometimes to facilitate that, to bring players in, you need to move players out. So it's good to hear that one player at least that has underperformed is getting shipped back out. I'd also be looking at very, very closely the loans of some of these lads. I'd keep Magoma. I think he's done okay. And if you can bring an experienced left back alongside him, he'll be absolutely fine. But I think for me, Giga is never going to be good enough. And despite those two despairing tackles that I thought he did really, really well with in Budapest, I'm not keeping that going. So I think I would like to see him also out the door. I don't think that'll happen though, Derek. And there's many, many more. Let's be honest. Like Chermiti, I would send him on loan.
Yeah, anywhere.
Asgard, I would sell in the window. Again, a player with a decent reputation from England. There were other players. There were other people in the market in for him. So he's one I would look to move out as well. I think there's scope to make some major comings and goings in this window, and that's what I hope to see.
Yep, Joe Rothwell, he hasn't featured since, remember, he came off the bench for extra time in that League Cup semi-final against Celtic. That was the last time he featured, which was the beginning of November. He hasn't featured in a league game since the 2-2 draw with Dundee United at Ibrox. So, yeah, he's just simply not fancied, and you can understand why. He hasn't really set the hell of the light since he's come up. Yeah, I think probably best that he's moved on. The comment there should be a permanent rather than a loan. Yeah, absolutely. If Rangers can get him offloaded on a permanent basis, and that is obviously the ideal scenario. On the loans, yep. Magoma, I'm with you on that. I'd be keeping him around. Mikey Moore as well, who is starting to show what he can do. But the other lads, yep, Max Aarons, I think he's been reasonably okay, but he's not good enough for Rangers for me. Whether is he likely to go in January, I'm not entirely sure. Giga, I'd be looking to send back, absolutely. Who's on? Derek Cornelius, of course, who's out injured, so it's not a lot you can do about that at this point in time. But it's clear, you touched on there, you've spoke about this before. January is a huge month, and Rangers have to have deals lined up for the beginning of January in time for going to Parkhead, for me, if they're serious about trying to lift this league title. Now, huge match tonight, of course. Dana Life says, what's your team for tonight, lads? Hibernian coming to Ibrox, and Rangers looking to get back to winning ways after the disappointment of Thursday night. I was at the Groupama Arena, and got to say, I thought first half, Rangers, of course, took the lead. Great goal from Miovski. Watching the game, and I was thinking, okay, I was needing the toilet, and the ball get flung in, and Jack Butland goes to claim in first half stoppage time. I'm thinking, okay, that'll be us halftime muscle sound. So I go to the toilet, come back out. We're in hospitality. My dad's at one of the tables, and he's got a couple of beers, and he says it's one each. I was like, I thought he was having a laugh. I was like, how's it one each when I've left, when Jack Butland's claimed the ball? How on earth have Ferencváros scored from there? But yeah, it was indeed the case. Second half, yeah, Ferencváros were the better team. They missed a good number of opportunities as well, and Rangers' deficiencies were highlighted once again. And I don't really have any complaints about the result. It was a big chance late on when Finlay Curtis really should have played in Mikey Moore for me, but defensively Rangers were very poor. And of course, they fell to a 2-1 defeat. I know you were on after the game, Jonny. You see disappointment, obviously. Ludogorets next, and then Porto, but dead rubbers, of course. But no real complaints about the result and how it unfolded. Is pretty much expected.
Yeah, no, I think Ferencváros deserved it. On the night, they were the better side, and Rangers were, I think, especially in the second half, really poor, as you say. Game management, the goalkeeper's got the ball in his hands with what should have been 30 seconds to go max.
Yeah.
You just have to be nasty. You have to be a nasty team. Listen, this is what Rangers have been lacking for quite a long time. Some really hard-nosed professionals who will do anything to win, and not this collection of nice young guys who just want to do well. And the Rangers of the 70s, the 90s, the successful teams of those eras, they're full of guys who would, slide tackle their grannies to get 3 points. And that's something I think ultimately you need to try and instill in the squad somewhere. Guys who just can give that sort of level of experience and knowledge and school the younger guys in the team, because
that's what's required. Yep, absolutely.
Derek, one of the things about this whole kind of model with the Americans, Rangers are a selling club. We understand that. That's been the case for 20 years now. And what they'll look to do is they'll look to bring in players, expose them to the elite level of stress that they'll come under at Rangers, the elite level at the training centre, and the elite level that they'll face when they go against Celtic and they go against Hearts and they go against European sides, or the very, very high level, maybe elite's too far. And then pull them out the other side, wizened, hardened, and able to be sold at a much bigger rate than when they were brought in. I really, really think to do that, you need to give them a platform. You have a foundation of high quality professionals around them that can school them and teach them and pull them through when the going gets tough, because you can't rely on young players to pull you through when the going gets tough unless they're very, very special. And once again, I really, really think it's incumbent on Rangers and someone at the club to be almost schooling Andrew Kavanagh and the rest of the board about the fact that that's just absolutely needed to make this kind of player training model work. You need to have guys that can pull you through so you continue to win while you're affecting this player trading model.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to talk about Celtic too much because we've already touched on their game last night, but if you look at their success over the last 10 years, you know, at the core of it has been Scott Brown and Callum McGregor as captain. How many times has Callum McGregor pulled them out of a hole in the last 3 or 4 years? And Rangers don't have someone like that.
Yeah.
You know, James Tavernier was capable of doing that for many years. But now at 34, it's just unfair to expect a guy to continue doing that. And he's got issues of his own with his form. You know, in the last 4 or 5 games, it's not been good. And, you know, at his age, he should be a guy that's coming in and out. To be honest, he should be a guy that's playing 25 or 30 games a season. He should be managed.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be expecting James Tavernier to be 60 games a season at 34 from right back. So, to me, it's a huge part of the model that they have, that core. And incredibly difficult to go and get it in January. But that's the challenge now, because that's where Rangers are. That's the realpolitik.
Yep. C. Coop gets in touch just about my trip to Budapest. He says, Derek, have you seen the video with you? And it's in the Hungary Rangers pub. I have not, C. Coop.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Oh, dear, indeed. What was in a pub the night before, and it was filled with Rangers fans. I think the bar owner.
Was there silver poles coming down in different points, Derek? Was it that kind of place, or?
No idea, Johnny, I've got to say. No, I know what you're getting at. No. It was that. None of that debauchery. But yeah, it was a fantastic pub that made an absolute killing from the Rangers fans who took over, and it was great to see so many bears out there, so many guys as well, and women that are fans of the show. So thank you for that, and yeah, good stuff. Right, tonight then, Rangers taking on.
Eric, sorry, can I just put something straight, because I don't want this going viral. There's a guy saying, no Jonny drinking straight diluting juice, which I can understand why, because I've got like a Tesco. You can't see it because of my green screen, my blue screen.
Yeah.
I've got this, right? And the reason I'm doing that is, no, it's not straight. There was a tiny bit left and I filled it up with water. But I've still got this cold stroke flu that's going around everywhere. You can probably tell from my voice. Yeah. So I need to drink consistently. Otherwise, I stop being able to talk. So that's why I'm drinking out this giant bottle.
Speaking about drink, Johnny, on that Thursday, I mean, the Christmas markets are over there in Budapest at the moment. So I thought it would be rude not to indulge in some of the lights. So got a couple of mulled wines for myself and my dad. And you could add a little touch into it. So I never knew what Palinka was before I went over there, but the girl behind the counter says it was absolutely delicious. So I added a bit of Palinka to the 2 mulled wines. My dad couldn't stomach it, so I had his. And as you could see in the video I did with Joshua the next day, I was a tad worse for wear. Have you ever indulged in a bit of Palinka before?
No, do you know what? I've not been to Hungary, but I did go to Krakow for my 30th birthday, and it remains one of the most drunken and debauched 4 days of my entire life. And I remember going into one bar, Derek. I mean, it's a different country, but Eastern Europe just in general.
Yeah.
In Poland, a lot of the bars, they have like vodka that they make, their own vodka. It's like in Italy, you go places and restaurants have their own wine or their own limoncello.
Yeah.
And I remember drinking this sort of homemade whole grain vodka. And he was like, this is the best vodka you'll ever taste. You want a shot of it? And I took a shot of it, and my God, Derek, the hangover the next day, and it was 80%. It was 80%. It burned all the way down.
Yeah.
It was brutal. So you've got to be careful with because these guys, they're real. You know, people think Scottish people are real drinkers, but we don't do the whole kind of homemade stuff so much here. Not in the Central Belt anyway. And yeah, when you start getting into the kind of, well, my granddad's recipe of vodka that's been in the family for 5 generations, and It's the same still, and would you like a bottle of it? The answer is, nah, you're all right, pal. We're not a serious drinking a family as you clearly are.
You're asking for trouble. I had a hangover from hell on that Thursday morning, but I soldiered on through and made it. So there you go, top professional. Anyway, the team for tonight, Jonny, of course. Good to see Dujon Sterling, incidentally, coming off the bench in midweek against Ferencvaros. I would be tempted to start him tonight if he is able to. That aside, we touched on James Tavernier there. A few comments coming in. Do you rest Tavernier for this game? Maybe play Max Aarons. That's another thing to consider. The defence, Danny Rose only gets so much options available to him. I think you're still stuck with Giga and Fernandez partnership. Giga will be heading off to the African Cup of Nations after this game. At left back, you've got obviously Jayden Magoma. Midfield is interesting. Connor Barron's one of the first names in the team sheet for me at the moment. Then you get Nico Raskin in there. Diamande, who was suspended on Thursday night, is available again. Of course, he's not going away with the Ivory Coast, so that is probably a decent thing, although he hasn't exactly been scintillating this season. Mikey Moore, you're starting for me. He has to start the game. I would be tempted not to start Gassama, I've got to say. I think he's been pretty hit and miss of late. Up front, you start Miovski. Any personnel for you that you're bringing in to start the game?
No, I think you've kind of you've covered it. I think the main issue is who's starting up front. Miovski, I'm assuming can't be available and won't be available. Well, given I think it was a hamstring injury, wasn't it? Injury.
Oh, right enough. Yeah. So, totally forgot.
For me, you're looking at really what do you do up front? What's the plan?
Yeah.
Is there something you can do that's creative? Could you go do a Derek Clark special and put Tav and Mikey Moore up front? I don't know. Charmiti for me, Danilo for me, they've just offered so little. I mean, Danilo, brilliant goal against Hibs. Seems like a lovely guy. I suspect he's been horribly diminished by these injuries that he's had. You can tell he kind of moves about with a slight limp, don't you? Can you? So he just, to me, just certainly hasn't offered enough this season to suggest that he's the answer. Charmiti, I think we've discussed it over many episodes, and I just don't see it. So I think you're left with either trying to come up with some sort of creative solution with a false nine, or having to play Charmiti, and I don't think you can reward failure in that way continuously. So I wouldn't be so keen on that. But you need to have some level of attacking threat, Derek, and these are the quandaries and the conundrums that Danny Rule is paid for. And let me tell you, I think of all the Rangers managers of the last few years, I think he's got more to consider and more on his plate and more difficult challenges than any of them.
Yeah. Well, huge run of fixtures coming up for Rangers, of course. Hibs this evening, a trip to Tynecastle, which is pretty much daunting to say the least at this point in time, given where this Rangers side are at. I'd probably be taking a draw in that game already, but tonight they have to take all 3 points. Hibs, incidentally, come into the game off the back of they beat Falkirk last time out after losing, of course, at home to Celtic, but they are just stuck in behind Rangers in 5th. They can leapfrog Rangers tonight if they win the game. Rangers themselves can go to within 3 points of Celtic and close the gap on leaders' Hearts as well. So Motherwell is currently sitting in 3rd as well. Rangers play Motherwell shortly at Ibrox, and I don't think that's going to be easy either. So it's one of those ones, like you said at the top of the show, if he can get to January unscathed, I think he's done a remarkable job. So let's see how it goes. On Charmiti, when he came off the bench on Thursday night, he's just, for such a tall guy, he has no real physicality, just getting brushed off the ball by guys much smaller than him. Unacceptable, really, for a Rangers forward to be so easily dealt with and managed by the opposition. And Rangers need much better than that. I wouldn't be playing him tonight. I'd rather play Finlay Curtis up front, I've got to say, than Charmiti.
It almost becomes cruel playing him, Derek, because he's getting pulled apart and analysed by people like us. And, the guy, it's not his fault that Rangers have splashed out all this money on him.
Nah.
It's not his fault that Rangers are a team that don't really create a lot of chances. So they need a striker that kind of creates chances for himself. He can't do that. I don't know if his confidence is low as well. He's missed a few chances. There's obviously been a lot of criticism. He's new to the country.
Yeah.
He's new to this club. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but we can only go off the evidence that's in front of our face. And I think you have to go with something different. And you always keep him on the bench in case you absolutely need to change to something that is more of an obvious focal point. But listen, Rangers has to be a club where you are not rewarded for failing to deliver.
Yeah,
that's the antithesis of what the club's all about. It needs to be about, this guy deserves his chance. He's given his chance. It needs to be as simple as that. And I see a lot of people talking about Finlay Curtis, and I absolutely agree. Every time he's come on, he's been a bright spark. I don't think Finlay Curtis is a world beater by any means, but it's time to give him an opportunity and a shot and a chance. And I certainly think if you're talking about playing at number 9, Finlay Curtis is definitely a more reliable finisher than Chermiti. So I would give him an opportunity. Mikey Moore's another one that's done more. So
definitely starts tonight. Yeah. We'll wrap up a couple of comments. You can't deal. It says, "Morning, guys. Apparently, I'm in the top 0.8 of viewers on my YouTube Rewind. Where is my medal?" Well done, buddy. Thank you for your support. Maybe we should get a sort of Donald Trump Peace Prize medal for guys like yourself. But yeah, thank you for your continued support to the channel. Peter Ferguson says, 2 best podcasters with no sugarcoating or getting haircuts the same as the players or the managers.
We don't do any of that. None of that nonsense. No pundit trainers. It's Marks and Spencers all the way for me. That's it. Don't worry about that.
So yeah, we'll wrap up there for now.
You're a bit more stylish than I am, though. To be fair, you must be slightly annoyed to be sort of bracketed in with me.
Well, that's the wife sort of organises my clothing if we're going out anywhere fancy. But yeah, don't go into the barbers and ask for a Mikey Moore. Put it that way.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, just a short back and sides is
same haircut you've been getting for the last 30 years.
Yeah. Stephen gets in touch. He says, "Is there no pressure for today's game?" No point if it's on a match day, Stephen. No, but the game tonight will have all your usual coverage, pre-match and post-match, as we always do from Ibrox. So if you're not making it along, then please do tune in. And remember, hit that like button, folks. Helps us here at the channel. Hit the subscribe button as well. We've not only got your morning briefings during the week, but all your usual match coverage as well, and extra shows as we've seen over the weekend as well. Stevie and Chris were back with the latest episodes of The Talking Point, which is well worth a watch or a listen, however you consume your Rangers review content. Right, big thank you to Jonny and thank you to you all for tuning into the show. Very much appreciated, and we'll chat again later. Bye for now.